All right. So for all the new people, there's Angel. How you doing, Angel? There you go. Peace up. Thumbs up. There we go. And Jacqueline came back. I thought she might be done with us after last week. I thought we had ran her off. Dang it. I can't hear you though.
You're on mute.
I'm in California time, so I have to wake up way earlier to join you guys.
Yeah, I know. That's
Oh,
awesome. I
wow.
love that.
So I had to
Sorry
set
that you have
my
to wake
alarm
up, but I
at
love that you're here.
7:30. Thank you. Yeah, I love it too. So I just had to set my alarm and then I hit snooze. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. And
Okay.
everybody knows you can always go back and watch these, like I said, online. And watch the first hour. So anybody has something to start us off with, and I will pick on you if you don't say anything.
Well, I would like to. First, I want to say thank you so much. This is my first time being on here. And the topic, it's a great topic because I believe that singleness is a place where you can, you know, you, you can really find yourself and um, you can discover yourself and really get involved in many different areas, whether it be something artistic or, it's just a place where it's just, yourself and, you know, while you're in search of your partner or your partner's in search of you, you know, both of your lives can be joined together. It's not that one partner is going to complete you, but both of you will be whole so that you can both become one because both of you are going to have your own identity. So whatever it is that we do on a daily basis, whether, we love to read, whether we love to run, whether, just any type of activity that we enjoy, we get to bring that part of us into their lives as well to edify. Because once you're in a relationship, it's so much harder because, the way that a woman is built, we then, are praying for our partner as well. So not only do we have our oneness with ourselves, but we're also going to be praying with our partner and become one. So singleness is a beautiful thing. I think it's a place where, you have your one-on-one with God and it's self-discovery, and, you know, it's a
I
beautiful.
love that. I love it.
Good.
I agree with you, Priscilla. You really hit the nail on the head because some people look at singleness as a curse, and it's actually a blessing. It's a blessing. All right. Being married is a blessing. The word says it. Being married is a blessing, and being single is a blessing.
Yeah.
And for me, being single and unmarried and not in a relationship, yes, like you said, I have so much time to find out who am I, what do I like, you get to find out. I mean, you find out things about yourself that surprise even you. You're like, I like this and I really like this. I like to paint or I like to read and I really get into books. Or, I really like talking to people and helping and serving other people. And so once you enter into a marital relationship, as the word says, your first concern does not become serving others. Your first concern is serving your spouse. And so your spouse might have, if you want to go and you want to join a group and you want to do certain things, if that attention is needed at home first, that is your first priority. And so you have the time where kind of like your time is your own, and during that time, you're supposed to be building yourself. I am a firm believer that you're ready to get married when you don't need to get married, because sometimes people are like, well, I want to get married because I'm tired of paying these bills by myself, or I need look, you said we keep it real. Jay knows I'll say anything, But sometimes people have kids already, from a previous relationship, and they're like, I need help with these kids. I need this, I need that. When actually the purpose of marriage is not so that you can receive, but so you can give something, God's love to someone else. That's the whole purpose. And so if you're not in a position to do that, then you're not ready. So that means, like Priscilla said, you have to already be whole. You have to already be able to manage the children and manage, if you have children, or manage your finances and everything like that, before God can even bring to you a person to complement your life, and you can complement theirs, because otherwise you're just going to be a drag for them. And you don't want to be that. I know I don't want to be that, so I've taken my singleness, my time, to go ahead and edify myself and kind of get myself together. Now there's a double edge to that sword, because oftentimes when I do meet men, I'm a homeowner and I have a business and stuff like that. So they already like, well, you don't need anything, so it's a double-edged sword. But I think that it's our job as individuals, and especially as women, to say, look, I need a man. I definitely do, but it might not be for the things that you think I need him for, those intangible things that God says. I need someone to cover me. I need someone to pray for me. I need someone with character and integrity, so that we can do this thing together, and I don't have to worry about some prettier woman or more affluent woman coming and taking you. I know that when you're out there in the streets, you're not thinking about anything but how I can take care of my wife and my family. So I think that what you said, I'm very happy that you're here, Priscilla, and that you shared that with us, because I'm right on the same page with you.
Yeah, and I love this group because we're able to come together, and that's so important, to come together, as women, as a community, and be able to edify each other and build each other up, and, because we're all in it, and there are changes going on, but the change is always, for good. We have to see the good part of it.
Yeah.
I agree that there's a lot of opportunity in being single. I think that the one key thing about it is being alone does not equate to loneliness. And you can be in a relationship and be lonely.
That's true.
You can be, in a huge gathering and be lonely. So it's not so much about your situation with other people as it is what your relationship dynamic is, whether it's family or friends or a significant other. So, but as Priscilla and Davide were saying, that has everything that starts with you. That starts with where you are and how you're building your relationships with people, what you're tolerating, as Jay was saying on the slides, that creates a situation in which you feel isolated, regardless of the fact that you may have many people in your life that care for you and want to be a part of that. And I thought it was interesting, Jay, what you were talking about on the slides, where you have people that you're contacting. And in the midst of that, you have people who are listening and want to comfort you and care for what's going on with you. And you're talking about what you don't have, instead of the fact that you have somebody that is willing to listen to that.
Wow, that's good.
Because we always will have things in our lives that that are deficient. There's always going to be something missing. And it's up to us to focus on what we do have. It's up to us to focus on what we're working with versus what we're missing, and be able to appreciate that and recognize it for what it is. I understand a lot of what, like Jay would say about eights. We have a tendency to have a well, he doesn't call it a wall, but I call it a wall around our vulnerabilities. And I have always looked for that one person that I could depend on and trust, because everybody always depends and trusts me, I'm always there for everyone else, but I want to just, okay, you know, God, just give me one person. If I could just one person that I can, you know, not have to worry about, then I'll be good. And I haven't, and some of that is my fault because I have not opened myself up to that opportunity for people. And some of it is I need to understand that one, I need to, you know, have a lot of that from God. And two, there were people that gave me the things that I needed, but there's always a fear of, okay, if I really open myself up, am I going to end up being rejected? If I really open myself up, am I really going to be accepted? Am I going to be loved? Am I really going to be able to get what I want? It's safer to stay behind the wall. But that's a, you know, it protected me, but it imprisoned me at the same time. And so we can't control what other people do, but we can look at what we do, the choices that we make, and how that creates the dynamic in our lives, and then change that, because that's what we can't control. We control our choices and how we choose to see the world. And Jay doesn't agree with me, but I told him only boring people get bored.
Ooh.
I don't believe that.
Oh, that's
I get bored a lot. I'm bored a lot with people. But y'all not giving none of the men any shout outs. I'm mad that, you know, y'all like, oh, the women's group. We got Janice, we got Don, we
Oh
got
my
Mr.
goodness.
Greg.
No.
Y'all like 100% women. Y'all better shout out some of these men.
No, there's men. It's not as many. It's like one man to every 5 women.
Hey,
But
that's all right.
they
That's
are
all
here.
right.
They are here. And
That's
I'm
all right,
glad
Mr.
to
Don.
see them.
That's all right.
Jameis came back to us. So
Yeah, he came back.
yeah.
So
But
to
I was just going to say about the boring thing is, if you don't enjoy your own company, then it's hard to expect somebody else to. And that's, I will pass on the mic.
you said something really profound. Tajan, is that how you say your name?
What? Yes, that's right.
Yes. Okay. So you said something that you know, where you said you want to find someone that you can be vulnerable with. So you're going to meet many people, right? But there are only very few people that you're probably going to be able to encounter and say, oh, I can have that type of relationship with that person, and I can be vulnerable with that person, and I can open up with that person. But it's a matter of just, you know, many people are probably going to come into your life, but you're going to have very few that you're going to be able to be vulnerable. And I think vulnerability is a strength. It really, really is a strength. And it's just really finding, you know, even that one person that you can be vulnerable with and say, hey, look, you know what, this is what happened to me. And, you know, I felt like this, and, you know, or, you know, I did this or whatever. And, you know, just process it, you know, and not just let it sit in you or fester or turn into anything else, loneliness or whatever. But, you know, you'll find eventually, you know, you'll find that one relationship that you can trust. So I understand that part, you know, because I'm really particular when it comes to who I can say certain things to, you know, because you have to trust that person to be able to, you know, be vulnerable too, you know?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I got to piggyback on that. So
Yeah.
right now, well, basically, Jay always talks about the media and TV and entertainment, and all you see is people like shows like Friends, like everybody's got this big social life, and you have all these people around you. And who else realizes, like, at this time of the year, people feel the loneliest during the holidays. Because all you see are like ads on paper, and people are merrymaking and drinking and hugging, and people have families, and maybe you don't, you know? So suicide rates are the highest at this time of the year. Okay. And the thing is, that person's status, relationship status didn't change. It's just how they feel about it is
Mhm.
what changed, because they're looking and they're constantly feeding themselves with what is portrayed to be happiness. And having a whole group of friends around you, like Tejan said, having a lot of people around you does not equate to not being lonely. So something in our minds is processing it like, those people aren't lonely. I want to be like that, but that's not true. It's a lie,
Mhm.
you know? And I think that this message today that you did, Jay, the disease of loneliness, cannot be more timely, because right now people are like, oh my gosh, it's getting cold outside. I need to be bundled up. I need to have the, that whole cozy atmosphere. It hits me every now and again, but but I have to talk to myself and tell myself, okay, guess what? It's just a holiday. It will pass. Do I want to be in a relationship with someone because they have we're at a level where I feel like I'm really close to them, or do I want to be with somebody just because it just feels good, It just feels good, Yeah, I think that when we're on our quest to find someone, the mate that God has for me, it's not always no, I can't even say not always. It's not predominantly a feeling. It is a logical, conscious decision and a choice. And so it's not as important, does this person make me feel good? You really have to look at, does this person and do we complement each other so that we can be better off as a whole together than we were apart?
Mhm.
So don't get caught up in that whole holiday thing, people.
One of the things that's kind of interesting you brought that up, because I think it's kind of hilarious, and I'm gonna start picking on people that don't talk. We like everybody to talk. Oh, so Kendra's over there looking. I'm gonna call on her a while there in a minute. But I did want to bring this up really quickly, and oh, Don is raising his hand, so we're gonna go to him next. But since Davida brought that up, who has not heard of cuffing season?
What?
Anybody
Cuffing
has
season?
not
What? What
heard
did
of
you say?
cuffing season?
Coughing season. You said
Oh my.
coffee?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
cough?
Cuffing.
Cuffing.
Cuffing
Cuffing.
season.
Like you put a
Coughing.
cuff
Evan.
on your arm. Okay,
Yeah.
well, cuffing season is the world's version of kind of what Davida just talked about. People find them somebody to stay nice and cozy and warm with through the holidays. They use them for holiday parties. They use them for the snuggles and the feel good. And you basically have this person from Thanksgiving through Valentine's Day, and then you break up with them. Now, in our group, we also call those people placeholders. They're just here for you for right now, for you to have some fun with, and then you move on. But you can have a cuffing baby or get a cuffing disease. So it's more than that.
Or cuffing mental problems.
Yes.
Basically. So it's just one of those things. I mean, we can go into detail about it, but I think everybody kind of gets that. Oh, Andrew had never heard of that before. Well, a lot of people do that. They find them somebody, they're not serious about you. They just want to hang out with you for the next 2 or 3 months. And then they want to cut you loose because they just don't want to be alone, for this time. And a lot of women have to watch out because guys will definitely do this. Men do not like being alone, ladies. Women think men are okay. No. They do not like being alone. Men have a hard time with their emotions. I've said this before. We are not emotionally strong. Women protect men's emotions the same way a man protects a woman, from a physical perspective. So that's major stuff right there. So let's listen to Mr. Don. I'm ready to hear him.
Hi guys, my name is Rudy. I just put Don in front because a lot of people call me Don. I mean from friends. I'm from
Oh,
Boston.
I can't hear you at all. I'm sorry.
Okay, he says he's from Boston.
I'm from Boston. I'm currently in New York visiting family, and my name is Rudy. And I'm glad that I'm part of this group. It's very interesting. The topics are very interesting, and the group is pretty impressive with a lot of women out there. So I just want to add a couple of things about loneliness. Like JL said, men are not strong when it comes to loneliness. It is true, a part of me, for part of it, me. So pretty much my whole life, I've been in and out in relationships, and I just recently decided to be alone and then have an act of celibacy. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much uncommon within men's, but I guess I just been giving myself to the wrong type of persons, both spiritually, emotionally, physically. So I kind of like decided I wanted to put a stop. And like a lot of people said on this on this um, on this panel, it's different. If you haven't tried something, you won't know it. If you don't try something, you won't know it. So I mean, I've always been. I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of female friends. I can count how many male friends I have with my fingers, but I have a lot of female friends, and I'm part of a lot of groups, a lot of organizations. So I'm moving. I am not alone, but I never wanted to be lonely. So it's two different things, alone and lonely. So right now I'm experiencing trying to be lonely, which is not having a significant other, and whether it comes in terms of spiritually, physically, romantically. And um, unless you guys are from the north, I'm experiencing hiking. I'm hiking a lot of mountains, and with the next state over by me is New Hampshire, which has like the highest mountains up in New England. So they have what you call the 48 4,000 footers, which are the 48 mountains that are 4,000 foot high. So just I started hiking reservation around Boston, which are like probably about 1,000 foot up, and I started being in love with them. And every weekend I'll be going up to New Hampshire, and literally a lot of black people don't hike, and this is something that we're trying to bring in. So usually see more Caucasian hiking and all of these things. So I'm starting to get into it, and I'm starting to love it. Like really doing literally white people things, and then they just like my friends are like,
What?
okay. So uh, going from hiking the mountains. So right now my goal is to hike the 48 mountains and then try to move up to probably Colorado, which has 10,000 feet up, and then miss. You never know. I might hike the Mount Everest. So the whole point of this is when you are experiencing hobbies, stuff alone, and you feeling different, you feeling you don't necessarily need a partner because you can fulfill yourself. So my thing will be like trying to fulfill myself and be happy within myself. And then the person that will come will just be added on instead of the old self actually known to a person spiritually, spiritually, physically, actually needed. So I guess I don't want
That's good.
Okay,
Thank you for
that's cool.
sharing.
I appreciate that. Okay, so let's
I
go,
don't
Mr.
know.
Wilder.
I don't know where you're from, Rudy, but I'm in New Jersey and I am a hiker as well. And there's tons of Black people hiking.
Right. Here
And I'm
too.
out there. So I don't know where you're at. Maybe the
Up in Boston and New Hampshire.
There's
okay.
it's just a
So
little bit
yeah,
different
the
in Jersey and New
demographics
York.
are different.
Yeah, there's not a lot of us up in the northeast. I mean, like further north, and
I
so
think for the groups, because we have groups also in DC and
Okay.
Virginia. Somebody
Yeah,
said
somebody's
static.
calling.
DC, Virginia, and West Virginia. Yeah, we got all every color is in those groups. And
Right.
it's just, I think it helps, like, about the loneliness, like Priscilla was saying and Rudy was saying, to find something else, find yourself and find your center. And it seems like once you do that, you attract a plethora of different people, and then you have to make a decision whether you want that person to be a part of your life, you know?
That's my problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I come across a lot of different people from different backgrounds, and my problem is trusting people in my life, in my personal space, because I don't know if they have good intentions, and it could be a man or a woman, doesn't matter, but just what are this person's intentions? Why are they getting close to me? And then, you know, I made a note here, you know, when I sense that if I'm calling someone and I sense that I'm annoying them or bothering them in some way with my problems or my inquiries, or I feel like I invite them to different places on several occasions and they continue to avoid me, then I completely cut them off to the point that I am blocking them. So there's no reaching back out to me.
That's
So
right.
I do, you know, when I'm sorry, when Jay, what is your name?
Oh, JL.
JL, is that what you call yourself?
Yeah,
JL?
that's what everybody on the group calls me.
We call you Jay too.
So,
Just Jay.
so you know, you've mentioned that, oh, if you know, if you're having a good time, stay. I also have a problem where, like, even if I am having a good time, I don't find myself there, so I just leave. You know, even if the atmosphere is fun, I'm just like, whatever, I just leave. I just made other notes that somebody else mentioned that, you know, you could be dating while lonely, but you could also be married and feel lonely and then go outside of your marriage to find somebody else and something different. And I find that a lot within my own circle of friends. The friends that are married, they're looking for and some excitement in their lives, and they cheat on their wives because they feel lonely in their marriage.
Mhm.
And there's something that they want to do that they don't feel comfortable talking to their spouse about. So they go behind their backs and they cheat. I, for one, I'm so sick and tired of dating in this toxic society that we live in,
Yeah.
you know, and I don't find good potential partners for me. So I just decided to remain single just to spend more time discovering more about myself and the things I like and I don't like. Someone else mentioned that it is an opportunity to be single because you can do a self-discovery that you wouldn't do it if you were with someone. And in my experience, loneliness, feeling lonely gets you into those bad and toxic relationships with the wrong people. So I try to avoid, especially during this time. I do feel depressed, you know, and even so more now because we are, you know, going through this pandemic and there's no much of a social gatherings anymore. So it's really hard to find that time to connect with other people. And I was so grateful when I was scrolling through the meetings for today, yesterday, and I saw this amazing topic that is discussing loneliness. And I thought it was so timely because of what we are all living through right now. And I am so glad that you put this together so we can all, you know, come together and exchange ideas. Um, and also another thing, if you can already tell, I come from a Spanish background. And the Spanish community, a lot of women get married when they're in their 20s, pretty much. And by the age of 30, you're expected already to have children, you know, the whole American dream, the degree, the house, the car, the nice husband, and all of that. And that's not my life. And when I go to my family's gatherings at the dinner table, the first question that comes out of their mouth, because I'm the only one that's single, you know, when are you getting married? You know, when when are you having kids? Why don't you have a boyfriend? Like, what are you waiting for? And my goals have never been to be married or have children. I want to experience life. I want to travel. I want to just live my young life without that pressure that society puts on us young women to be married. Otherwise, your clock is going to run out, and you belong to that side of the spectrum where you're doomed pretty much. And that's so harsh, because the reality is that men don't really have that pressure to get married before their clock runs out. And I just feel really bad that society has put us women in this category, because in my age group, I'm in my early 30s, I'm already like, my community says, you are left to dress saints. Like you're like, you should become a nun because I'm not married or have children at my age. And I'm young.
That's young, but yeah, they usually I have an adopted sister, and she is from El Salvador, and so of course we threw her quinceañera. So she's a woman at 15, So
Yeah.
it's like right then is where in your culture, that's where the clock starts, and like you're like in your 30s, they're like, what are you doing?
And it's very sad, because it's not just the American society, but it's also your own culture and ethnic background, and all of those traditions that are brought into the American society when you immigrate to this country. And it's just that's one of the things that I'm just like not really happy about. But yeah, I think it's important. If anybody in history knows about loneliness, I think that would be Jesus Christ, because he was unwanted, to the point that, being an innocent man, he was killed by people. So I'm pretty sure that even though he was the son of God, there were a lot of times where he felt completely alone, but he had God. So that gives me hope. And just thank you. I don't have anything else to add, but thank you very much for allowing me time and space to express myself.
No, I mean, it's cool. This is what we're here for. And one of the other things I think that you'll enjoy if you come out more, because sometimes the topic might not necessarily talk to you or to what somebody is going through directly. But like I say, the core of us, we kind of still meet up because it's just community, and we just like to talk to each other. But I did want to bring up one or two things that you said, because I would like to talk briefly to those. I mean, if you hang out after one, we can go deeper into them. But for right now, I'm just going to speak to them very quickly so we can get to other people. But one of the things that you brought up was like, how you feel alone, a lot of times. And some of this is, and even dealing with other people, and some of this, believe it or not, is dealing just being an 8, because you talked about being an 862. And Tashawn can talk to that. I can talk to that. In fact, Tashawn briefly did talk to that. And I can talk to that. And Secunda, who just got off, can talk to that as well. When you're an 8, there's just certain pressures put upon you. You generally do certain things a certain way. And so that in itself, 8s isolate themselves. That's what, a lot of the times that we do. And so it's something for you to think about. So you might, having other 8s that you can talk to will also help you to understand that. And even when you're starting to talk about dating, as an 8 and as a woman 8, it will cause a certain set of problems, because 8s generally take control, and many times they don't like being controlled. And most men in their relationships, they are the controller. So you can't be controlled if you don't want to be controlled. So that can also be issues, and we won't really talk. I don't want to get too deep into that right now because that's not really what our topic is. But if you hang out afterwards, I'm sure that me and Tashawn can talk more about that, and even about the 6, because the
Sure.
6 also is a certain level of energy that Tara might be able to talk more to. And that's another reason why we do Enneagram, because literally, when you talk to like me and Tashawn, or even to Tara, you're talking to somebody who has your personality. But when you're talking to the average person out there that like are sevens or whatever, and they're out there, like you said, you know, because they're looking for adventure in their relationship, a lot of that is the immaturity that they have because their Enneagram is out of control. So again, I just want to put that out there, and that's why we study this stuff, and that's why we talk about it, and it's also why many times people hang out so they can talk to other people about what's going on with them. And we've had several people on this group to meet outside of the group, just in phone calls and or emails, to basically understand more about dating as an XYZ, being an XYZ, going through certain problems, because you'll find out that Tashawn might have a lot of the same type of problems that you have, and or Tara might have the same types of things. And so you can talk to them and get that full understanding to help heal.